All right, build update number 5. Some things have changed. I'm not happy with the gear right now because one of the main things that have changed, I've got the Hoa gloves, the Hand of Wisdom in action. We're going to talk about that. I lost a lot of chaos res. I lost some fire resistance. As you know, like trading is just like everything's like you want good gear, 20 to 50 divines, and I just haven't been getting drops lately. I used to get like exalts, I would see divines. Now I'm not seeing anything, so I'm just kind of at a standstill as far as the build goes, but I have changed a lot of things. But look, I don't think Witch Hunter is one of it's just not one of the highest DPS classes. Now this build does good. I can clear T15 maps, and I can do let's look at the Atlas. I think I'm at +3 the bosses. Yeah, +1 +1 +1. So map boss is +3 difficulty, so we only have one more difficulty to go, but I'm clearing those. Obviously life is not where I want it to be. I think I gotta believe that sometime this week they're gonna give us some news on what kind of balance changes they're gonna do and all that stuff. But build is not, I'm not happy with it, but we're doing more damage. Okay, so look, biggest thing, let me explain how it works. So basically I have a node on the passive tree, which this has changed. I did fail the last ascendancy. I failed probably the Sigmas. I didn't know what was, I went in blind with the guy at the time. You got to run through the things to like stop it. I didn't know. And then I failed the Trial Master for the Trial of Chaos. After you do it 3 times, you get the, the thing. I made a stupid mistake. I thought he was done with one of his attacks, and I started powering up, and then one came from off screen and killed me, and that was that. But this is still going to be another 30% damage. I'm looking forward to that. And outside of that, I want to show how this build works. But if you look here, 25% increased damage with crossbows for each type of ammunition fired in the past 10 seconds. Okay, so if you look at our just basic crossbow damage, we're at 25,000 on that. Let me just show you Shockburst rounds, what we're doing on the pulse. 176,000 per second on the tooltip here, okay? Let me show you what it can get up to. So you see we're at 25,000, okay? If I just load Galvanic and start shooting, now look, 26,000, okay? So we get 25% every time we switch to something. And with that said, let's look at the pulse on Shockburst. It is now at 182,000. Okay, nothing crazy, but as you can probably notice, our speed is pretty quick. It's a lot faster than it was. And I'll give you a tip to make it even faster. But basically with this build, depending on the boss, make sure you don't get one shot, they come out swinging. You're going to shoot this, and then you're going to put on Voltaic Mark, which I think we're getting 52% on the shock percentage, which from what I understand is an extra 52% damage. And then you're going to switch the Shock Burst, and you're just going to blast. Every time, so we have a skill on Shockburst, fresh clip. 1% more damage for each bolt reloaded by that skill in the past 6 seconds. So, this stacks. It's not like it just reloads once. Like, as long as you have enough skill speed that you can keep refreshing that. Now, it's bugged right now. We're supposed to have like 27, 28 bolts per clip, but it's still bugged. So, every time you shoot this, it goes up. Like, ready? Let's look at it now. We are at 296,000. Okay, that's just from the fresh clip. So if I start out, we'll shoot this. All right, we'll switch to Galvanic just to get that extra 25%, and then we'll switch to this. Let's just stop there, and now let's look at it. We are at even lower. Okay, so you can pop emergency reload, and maybe it'll show more. Yeah, 302,000. I've gotten it up to like I think almost 400,000 before, depending. But when I say the clip stacking, that's what that means. So as long as you can get off more rounds, this fresh clip is gonna do you pretty well. Also, is it this one? So I just want to thank a lot of you for giving me pointers, tips, like, hey man, try this out, or hey, I looked at some other builds, because I'm trying to like stick to my own and not copy other builds. I had a few people like, oh hey, like I've seen other people using this, maybe give it a shot. I don't know which content creators it came from, but whoever it is for finding this, thank you. It is a huge boost of damage. So this Shockburst rounds does AoE damage. Okay, on the pulse, it hits and then it throws a pulse. Now, I thought that the bullets were just doing the damage and the pulse was just like, okay, these also create a pulse and that does the AoE damage to people within that 1.8 meters or whatever it is. So that pulse, the bullets are hitting, doing the damage, and then that pulse is also doing damage on the target. So with concentrated effect, supported skills deal 40% more area damage, but have less area of effect. That area damage, let's just look here, okay? Let me let all the buffs fall off quick. All right, let me let all the buffs fall off. All right, all buffs are off. So our pulse damage is at 176,000. If I remove this gem, we are now at 126,000. We gain 50,000 DPS per second by putting that on. That's a huge increase. So that's one of the biggest upgrades we have to our build right now. So I forget, it's been a few days I haven't been on because I was dealing with a kidney stone. So whoever that was in chat that told me that, thank you, sir. That's huge damage. This makes it hit way harder, and I am actually using Voltaic Mark now. I've changed some passives around. I wish I had another slot for this. I need a perfect jeweler's orb. But yeah, that's basically the thing. Basically what you want to do is you want to come out, switch ammo to get your 25%, start off with a railgun if you can. If you have a boss that's going to come out and swing right away, hold off. Use galvanic maybe to shock, or just wait till you have an opening. But the biggest part of your damage is going to be getting the shock with the railgun, and then that's gonna last 10-11 seconds, and then you'll just have all the time in the world to shoot that down, use a voltaic mark, and then just keep blasting and do your damage. So that's pretty much how you use the build. I would love some more life. I would love some more energy shield. Like I said, it's just one of those things right now where I'm in a weird spot. I can't afford better gear. I'm not getting better gear drops. There's gonna be people, well, what do you expect to be one shot when you only got 2k life? Look, man, the state of the game, there's the people with double my life are still getting one shot. People with max resistance are getting one shot. The game's just a little overtuned. It's early access. I'm sure, you know, look at the armor situation. It's just, you know, it is what it is. But this isn't like some top meta build. This is just, you know, what we've come up with. I'm having fun with it. It's fun to clear maps. But that's pretty much how you play it. You switch between your ammos, get the damage. You can use emergency reload, and then you just blast Shockburst rounds. And yeah. So as far as skills, okay, look, galvanic shards. We have the increased speed now. These gloves cost me, I think they're going for like 7 to 10 divines right now. Make sure you don't get one that's corrupted and has the 2% attack speed. You can get, if you get a good Val Orb, you can get to 4% increased attack speed. But if you look at our dexterity, we got to 250. Our intelligence is way higher than it used to be. I could probably actually look at maybe mixing up some skills now that we have more intelligence. I just haven't had the time. But basically with this, we gained 3, 6, we got 12% per, so that's 24. We got literally 30% increased attack speed with these gloves right now. When we can afford new ones, I'm gonna Val Orb it and hope to get the 4%, and that's gonna give me literally another 10%. But also the lightning damage scales with intelligence, which is big, so we're getting, I guess, 9 to 90 lightning damage. But this is pretty quick, okay? Now, if you're doing maps and you're not doing a boss, what I suggest is you can take conduction off. You're still gonna shock. Herald of Thunder is still gonna go off, okay? But unequip conduction and go to Shockburst and take the attack speed, martial tempo, and put it on here. Now look. Insanely fast. So if you want to rip through maps, put martial tempo on and just completely destroy, right? And then when you're attacking, due to which one is it? Right here we get, if you've killed recently, that's another 6%, 10% movement speed if you killed in the past 4 seconds, and then you get another 8% attack speed. So once you start killing, you're just blasting like this. You just and you just go through and like you're moving really fast. The only thing you got to be watch out for is on death effects, because when you're just blasting the map and you're running, you kill a lot of shit, it's gonna kill you. It's just how the game is right now. But if you want to really rip through maps, move martial tempo, and if you get to a boss, put martial tempo back, because if you look, without martial tempo, the pulse goes down like 30k. So you do lose a lot there. We're gonna put this back. That's up to you. If you don't feel like changing it, don't. But you know. So on top of that, ignore the crossbow shot. None of those gems matter in there. I've never removed them, so they are there. So galvanic, bread and butter for map clearing. I have conduction. Okay, 100% more shock. It helps. You don't really need it. Okay, like I said, if you want to switch martial tempo out for map clearing, do that. I've got acceleration. The projectile speed is pretty big. It shoots them like all the way out of range, versus if you take this off, they kind of like it just doesn't blast as far. So this does help for clearing maps. I have primal armament, more elemental damage, and I have fork. When they hit, they fork, they split into two, and they just shoot everywhere. I've seen a lot of people tell me, oh, you can use Pierce. You could use Pierce, right? But forking pretty much does the same thing. It hits, and then it forks, and it just goes right to the other enemy. So Pierce will go through the enemy. So fork hits for full damage and then spreads out anyway. So it's kind of the same thing. So that's what I got on Galvanic. Plasma Blast, nothing has changed on Plasma Blast. I have Scatter Shot, so I get the 3 beams. Hourglass, 40% more damage. Mobility. A lot of people were telling me they're running mobility on galvanic shards. It's not worth it. You're hitting so fast and moving so fast. You're better off having the mobility for this in boss fights, because you need to get that off to do like the 10-11 second shock. Yeah. Okay, lasting shock. 100% increased shock duration, 25% less chance to shock. I've never had an issue with this not shocking a boss or any enemy, any rare, any magic. It always shocks. Now, I do think once I get my 5th slot, there's one where it does another 75% increased magnitude of shock, but the shock duration is like 50% less. I think I'm going to roll with that. That should push me into like the 65-70% magnitude of shock, which is more big damage. I'll figure that out once I get a perfect Jeweler's Orb. Shockburst rounds, we're running the 5 socket here. Martial tempo. Big boost to speed, and the faster you can shoot, the faster you can reload and get that fresh clip buff, and just your DPS just keeps going up and up and up. I have heft, 30% more maximum physical damage. Elemental focus, more elemental damage. Cannot inflict elemental ailments. That's fine. This is just for DPS. You're inflicting your ailment with the plasma railgun. Concentrated effect. Shout out to everybody who's been telling me about this. Huge damage increase, absolutely massive. And then fresh clip, of course. Emergency reload, haven't touched it. Okay. Skills empowered by supported skills deal 50% more damage. Premeditation. Persistence. Supported skills have 40% more skill effect duration. Ingenuity, 30% increased cooldown. And inspiration, 40% less cost. Okay. Herald of Thunder, still running that. Now, what I have in here is Lightning Infusion. Okay. Taxing 25% of damage as extra lightning damage. Long shot. Since we're blasting things and this is hitting stuff right at the edge of the screen, this gives us big damage. Okay. 35% more attack damage, more than 7 meters from you, scaling down to 3.5. It's huge for this to do more damage. Cannibalism, 4% of life recovered on kill. This kills a lot of freaking people. Magnified effect. 40% more area of effect. Now, if you can, what is it called? Gem Cutter's Prism. This right here improves the quality of a skill gem. Highly recommend. Each time you use it, it gives 5% quality. Max is 20. So you need 4 to max out a skill gem. With Herald of Thunder, when you buff it, you get 2 extra lightning bolts that come down. So instead of having 3, it does 5. It's a huge difference. Highly recommend getting all the quality of your gems to 20%. Okay? So Wind Dancer, I have for evasion. Only so much I can do with this build. Like I said, if you look at my resistances, my fire is now at 60. Cold's good. Lightning's a little short. I lost some chaos. When I got rid of my gloves, I lost 20 chaos. Now I have 18% chaos on the charm, which puts me at 63, but it's just not enough. Like I said, gearing is a little tough right now. I will go over gear in a bit, but regardless, you're going to want to max your shit out. And my evasion is 64%. If I get 2 more levels, I should be able to get my evasion to 70%. I ditched armor because it just wasn't doing anything. But, you know, this is a more squishy build. It's just how it is until they do some balancing, okay? Back to the skills. I have Wind Dancer, okay? I have Precision on it, so I get 30% increased accuracy. And I have 30% increased recovery from Life Flask while it's active. This caps out the stock 100 Spirit. If at all, at any point, I'm able to grab Spirit somewhere, I might look into, I don't know, something. Could go back and try Cast on Shock, even though it was not really proccing when I tried it the one time. Maybe some other defensive thing, a banner, I don't know. Something maybe in the future, depending on what gear we get. Voltaic Mark, I'm actually using this now. I have Lightning Mastery. I have Neural Overload, which is not doing anything. I need to swap that out. Arcane Tempo, more cast speed. But basically, once you get your Plasma Blast off and you shock the enemy, spam Voltaic Mark, it'll take it from like I think I'm hitting for 32%. I haven't played in a few days. And it'll take it to like 52%. And that's just more damage you're pumping out. I haven't touched a gas grenade, but if you want to use it, fucking, you know, go for it. So those are all my skills. That's what I'm running now. I'm back to using Voltaic Mark. I just have some like shitty bow on there that it doesn't matter, honestly. Yeah, I cannot use this. Stats will be ignored. So yeah, whatever. So let's go over the passive tree. Show you what has changed. Obviously you want to go for Decimating Strike and then Witchbane and No Mercy if you get up that high. Now, a lot of people are telling me, oh, just go Sorcerer Lord, you can survive. You know what? I haven't seen anybody go straight Decimating Strike and No Mercy. Also haven't looked, but that's what I'm going for because another 30% more damage I feel is going to be huge. So I unspec'd out of these armor and evasion nodes. Okay. And basically I've come down. I removed this area of effect one as well. So I just have all these for, you know, two-handed weapon damage. Now you might have to change some of your travel nodes to get more intelligence, strength, whatever you need to meet your maximum requirements for whatever. I still have heavy ammunition, careful aim. Now I did get rid of Thunderstruck and Spreading Shocks. So basically I'm still running the 30% increased lightning damage I get right here, but I moved those out of there. Still coming down for Adrenaline Rush, reload speed. I'm coming down. I'm keeping the 25% chance to shock. I have all the lightning rod stuff. Still have all the sand in the eye. Still have the same stuff on the crossbow. Jewels, as far as jewels go. So I removed the Giant Slayer. And this jewel actually gave me 20% increased damage against rare and unique. So kind of got it back. 16% increased damage with crossbows. 6% increased duration of shock. Pretty good. And then I come up. There's another jewel. Increased lightning damage. Penetrates 10% lightning resistance. 16% increased damage with crossbows. Hidden build up we don't need. Coming up, I grabbed the acceleration nodes here. Another jewel. Lightning damage. Crossbow reload speed. Magnitude of shock. And I'm still coming up, grabbing the Coming Calamity for Herald of Thunder. We get a 15% increased lightning damage while it's active. Now, this is new. I've come up, I grabbed all these evasion nodes, and I've gone through, and I got this attack speed and dexterity, the Falcon technique. So this is giving me like, I don't know, 17% increased attack speed on top of the 30% of the gloves. So this is 47% attack speed from last time we had the build. So it is insanely fast now. It does way more damage. It's very fun. Shooting that fast is super fun. I'm having a blast with it. I just wish, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get this build in a good spot, and I'm struggling with equipment right now. I'm grinding. I'm not getting like any exalt drops. It's one of those things where it's not really a class where you can kind of sacrifice one of these stats for rarity. I know like rarity is the go-to right now. I'm kind of curious how they're gonna change that, because I feel like they might change it in the next patch or whatever they want to do. If you can squeeze rarity on gear, go for it. I do have another set of gear, like 4 pieces that have the rarity. I was running like 109% rarity, plus I was getting like 50 on the map, so I was running like 150% increased rarity. Honestly, I didn't really notice a huge difference. I think my drops have just been shitty lately, but if, you know, it's not like a Stormweaver build where you're just doing hundreds of thousands of DPS and you can spare the slots for rarity. Me personally, I wish rarity would just scale with the higher level content, and I didn't have to waste a good node on my gear, a good prefix or suffix for rarity, because this build already kind of struggles. It's not one of the meta like super crazy builds, so kind of losing a stat for rarity really sucks, and that's why I'm avoiding it like the plague for now. But back to the tree, I have gone up to here, and when I got rid of these 4 here on Thunderstruck, what I did was I came down to get more magnitude of shock. Gives me, I think it was 75%. 20% shock duration. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab this other 70% eventually, because when I put the last skill support gem on the Railgun, the Plasma Blast, I'm going to get 75% increased magnitude, which is what these 4 nodes gave me. So I'll have 150% magnitude with these nodes, but I'm losing 50% duration. And if I grab this and this, I'll get a little bit more duration than what I have now, and it kind of negates that support gem, but it gives me the more magnitude to deal more damage. I did come up and grab all this attack damage and get maiming strike, which maim is was it slow? Yeah, slower movement speed and reduced evasion on the enemy, but this was a good boost of damage. And as far as grabbing these 2 nodes, we still, I would say by level 93 I'll grab these 2, and I'll come up here and I'll grab 15% evasion, and I'll grab this 100% increased evasion from equipped body armor. I've seen chest pieces that can get like 1,000 evasion rating. If you get that, it'll put it at 2,000. That'll be a big boost to evasion. That should put you 70 to 72, 73%. Probably where it's gonna be capped, but that's what I'm hoping for. That. That's the passive tree. That's the biggest changes I've made. And as far as crossbow, I bought a new crossbow for a divine. It went up to like 416 physical damage, and I had this one and I Val Orbed it. It gave me 3 to 49 lightning damage. Sick. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I Val Orbed the new one, bricked it. It literally took away like 2 stats and didn't give me anything. So I'm still running my old crossbow. I don't really know if that 81% increased elemental damage is doing a lot. I think I would rather have the flat lightning damage, honestly. On a bow, you're looking for +6 to projectile skills. You're looking for like the 130 to 140% physical damage. You're looking for, you know, in the 40s. I don't know if it goes to 50s for the flat fizz. I would definitely not have the mana per enemy killed and the critical damage bonus on there. I would rather have the lightning and I don't know, anything else, honestly, but that's what I'm running. Chest piece. I'm trying to get life on everything to boost my life. I'm running full evasion. Just whatever you put on your gear, make sure you're capping your resistances. You're going to have different rolls than me. That's fine. Now, I did get a new helmet. Biggest thing here is I got strength, dex, and intelligence on this. Pretty good rolls, because now we're stacking dex for attack speed and we're stacking int for more lightning damage. I would like to get one more int stat somewhere, maybe on a ring or my amulet. But keep in mind, your crossbow, I've been seeing, I think it's level 76, 77. I need 116 strength, 116 death. dex. My strength is 127 right now. So, but here's the thing. I got strength still on my amulet. 14 there, and I got 20 here. So that's 34. If I replace these with more damage, I am losing, I'm going to have like, what, 93 strength? So I'm going to have to keep strength somewhere, right? I'm going to have to keep strength somewhere on a ring. Keep that in mind when you're doing this, especially if you want to wield like a higher end crossbow. You're going to need probably at least 116 strength. So whether you got to do it on your passive skill tree or keep it on, you know, whatever, keep that in mind. But the helmet, 32 mana is shit, but the life, armor and evasion, whatever, I just got this for the strength, dex, and intelligence. Amulet, I put Style Bender on it for now, gives me 25% increased physical damage. Look around for some nodes, but anything that gives you flat fizz or, you know, I got a couple written down. I'll just update on the next build if I get something, you know, decent. But I've seen amulets go, I think it was +3 to all projectile skills. Very expensive now. If you can get +3 to all projectile skills plus the +6 on your bow, you're looking at +9. You're looking at 29 on your skill gems. Going to be huge damage. So that's the end goal. That's what I'm running. As far as rings, I could use more chaos resistance, pump dex, flat fizz, or flat lightning damage, dexterity, intelligence, because now we're scaling attack speed. Look for that on the rings. I've seen a lot of people use the breach rings and then the belt of, I think it's the belt of ingenuity, and which boosts, I think it's like up to like 79% that it boosts your breach rings, which can go up to like 50% quality. And whatever stat, like say you got 100 flat fizz damage, you get that extra 79, do like 179 flat fizz damage. So that belt of ingenuity will boost those a lot. But again, I'm going to lose resistance if I do that. So I really have to figure that out, whether it's on the boots. I like the helmet because it's got the 3 main stats. Like I said, I'm stuck on the gear right now. Try to get flat damage on your rings and pump as much resistance as you can to get them maxed out. My belt, I want to replace it. I haven't found anything good yet. Basically, I don't need the thorns. Life regen is all right. Chaos, lightning, like I said, whatever you need. My boots, obviously go for 30% movement speed. And then whatever else you need on it, honestly. Our mana regen is, if you can see down there, 73.5. And our life regen is 74.2. They're basically the same. Our mana will get a little low at times because the more we pump these levels, like look at this, it's 208 mana, and it like in 2 seconds the clip's gone, so it eats your mana. Now that we're pumping intelligence, we have more mana. We have like 200 more than we had last time, so it's not really a problem. If you're really chunking on a boss, you might have to pop like 1 flask while you're doing it, but it does, like if you're just shooting galvanic, you can see it doesn't really, like it was like 10 away from, you know, like it'll take you a while to completely drain this, you know what I mean? It's pretty good. It's in a pretty good spot, but if you can get your mana regen up to around like the 70, you'd probably be in a good spot. But yeah, the gloves are the biggest thing. Dex, intelligence, attack speed. It's the Hand of Wisdom in action. This is a big thing. I did slot a Soul Core in it that gives me +7 to chaos resistance. I would love the Val Orbit, but I'm not going to until I can afford a new one because it's probably going to get bricked. I am running the chaos resistance charm, and that's pretty much where I'm feeling. I'm going to try to get breach rings that give me some good rolls. And I mean, as far as that's what I'm running with. Took a little longer explaining it again this time, but I wanted to kind of explain how the build works, how to maximize the damage, how to get that, you know, when you're reloading the clips, how the damage goes up, and then switch to galvanic, and then, you know, switch to this and switch back and voltaic mark and getting that going. and it'll get your DPS pumping. Like I said, I'm on +3, the map boss difficulty, clearing 15s. Sure, you're gonna die. Every build, no matter how much they're doing, they're still dying the stupid shit. Hopefully they tune it down a bit. But yeah, that's where I'm at. The gloves and the attack speed node are the biggest things. It's fun clearing maps. It's just the attack speed. It's so fast now. It's so sad. It's just and then like just lightning comes down. They're all dead. They're all dead. And with us having some stun on that heavy ammunition, it knocks them back a bit. And now we're maiming them. They're getting less movement speed and evasion. And like you can kind of like when you're like really hitting them with the galvanic charge, they kind of like get pushed back and then they're just dead, hit with lightning. It's pretty easy to clear maps. Even breaches are like a breeze. I can do T15 breaches, no problem. It's in a good spot. Like I said, the gear, we'll get the gear going. And yeah, I just wanted to update it. You know, so that's what I got, boys. Anyway, let me know how you feel. I'm gonna update the Mobalytics. I probably won't touch the gear because it's suboptimal. I'll probably leave it what it is now, but I'll change the passive tree, all that stuff. Let me know what you think. Thank you for the support. We've gotten a lot of new subs, big views on the build videos. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's left me feedback, and I look forward to really min-maxing this as much as possible. We're kind of at a point now where we need a lot of divines. As far as like exactly what you need for the build, it's still a fairly cheap build. The biggest thing is the gloves, which are 7 to 10 divines right now. Maybe they've gone up, maybe they've gone down. I don't know, I haven't looked, but it's a fairly cheap. It's not, you know, one of those builds where you need like 400 divines, but it's also not a crazy powerful build, but it's fun. Anyway, you know the drill. Subscribe, come back. See you on the next one.